Mayor Sharon Tucker.
Hello, hello, hello.
We heard you are the first Fort Wayne mayor under 5'4".
That's right. I have what I have always deemed a complete open door policy. If the door is open, you're more than welcome to come in, sit, and talk with me. I still have that even in City Hall. It's catching everybody off guard. They're like, we can really come in here? Many people only ever knew me as councilwoman. They never had the opportunity to know me as leader. I'm going to always do and be who I am. I'm that person, whether I'm having lunch with the CEO of a large corporation or whether I'm eating Taco Bell, right?
Welcome back to the NEI Pioneer Podcast. This podcast showcases and shares the stories of the people in Northeast Indiana. Today, our VP of Marketing, Jonathan Sackett, sits down with Mayor of Fort Wayne, Sharon Tucker. Now, NEI is not affiliated with any political party, but we are partial to a great story. And wherever you may fall, we still think that you will enjoy this conversation. In this episode, we learn the story of how she got into politics, what keeps her motivated, her thoughts on new city developments, and she gives us a general look into a life as a politician. Take it away, Jonathan.
Welcome, Mayor Sharon Tucker.
Hello, hello, hello.
Of Fort Wayne, Indiana. If you don't mind, I'm going to start by bragging about you.
Okay.
And then I'm going to pelt you with questions for the next 45 minutes.
Okay.
Works?
All right, yeah.
Okay. Mayor Tucker is the first black female mayor in Fort Wayne's history. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing to me about this when we were doing all of our background on you was technically you're not the first female, but I think she was in for 11 days.
11 days.
Yeah,
yep.
okay. So
Cosette Simon.
You got that beat too.
Yeah.
Most recently, she serves as executive director of Vincent House Incorporated, which I think is very cool, and we'll get into that later.
Okay.
In addition to being the city councilwoman for Fort Wayne's 6th District, a position she held from 2020 to 2024. As the first black female to hold that position, Tucker was also elected as 1st District councilwoman on Allen County Council in 2014 and was reelected to a second term in 2018.
Yep.
Now, I've got a whole bunch of stuff here that I could
Okay.
talk to you about. I got your smiling face on here. Welcome to NEI. You and I met once at Hoppy Gnome, which is one of my favorite restaurants around here. But we were so excited to get you in here and to get your point of view on things. I think I'm going to get into some things because I'm really interested in why anybody would run for public office, because it's got to be the toughest thing. We'll get into that, but I just want you to know that that's coming. First things first, the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Is going to be the casino.
Okay.
So, I've heard a lot of thoughts on it, opposing views. I don't speak on behalf of NEI. I have my own opinions.
Sure.
I'm interested in yours.
Yeah. So, 9 months ago, you probably would have not been able to get me in this conversation because some would say it's political suicide, right?
Yeah, right.
Why would
right.
you be doing this?
I'm
Why
still
would you
wondering
be
if it is.
trying to change our community and the way that you're trying to change our community. It's not that I am working to change the community. When information came that gaming was coming to Northeast Indiana, the opportunities of gaming coming into our community, whether it was New Haven, Fort Wayne, my concern is making sure that if gaming is going to be in the area, that we should benefit from the resources that are going to come from it.
Yeah.
That we should not be the recipients of just all the burden or challenges that come with it, but that we should be recipients of the proceeds that get to receive from gaming, and that we also have control. That's the other thing. If gaming comes in any other form where we are not the ones that control that gaming, then we would be in trouble. So you want to look at making sure that you can oversee the outcomes, that you can oversee the regulations, that if we're required to police it, that we have the proceeds that we would need to be able to police how gaming works in our community to keep residents safe. And so while I am not necessarily advocating that we become a gaming community, should that be what the legislation decides, then we should receive the proceeds from that as well. And so a lot of people disagree.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I
don't know where the disagreement is coming from. Do you think it's an ethics thing or a moral I don't know.
You know, you can run it down the line of moral. I've heard many people say that it's going to create prostitution. I've heard people say that crime's going to grow up. I've heard people say that it'll create addictions. I can tell you that in the research that I've done, I've talked to mayors in our community that have casinos. They've seen no increase in any of those things.
No.
And that's why the policing becomes more important, and we get to control the destination if it's going to be in our community.
Right.
Where if you have a spot that we're not controlling and we're not receiving the proceeds from, we have no say in what will happen. But it could be a number of things. You know, it's challenging whatever way it goes. It's challenging.
Right. You're going to have
either
opposition if you voted for or against.
Mm-hmm,
There's no doubt about it. And I also I like the point that you made about we should benefit from the proceeds because it's going to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And you know, here's the thing that the residents of Fort Wayne really need to take a hard look at is, where do we want to be as a city? Mm-hmm. Do we want to continue seeing the positive momentum that we've seen, the growth that we've seen, knowing that our playbook has changed?
Yes.
Right? The playbook has changed, everybody's playbook. And so we have to look for, it's my duty as mayor to make sure that I am exploring every single avenue to bring in tax revenue into our community. And so my testifying down at the State House was the exploration of an avenue to say that, hey, if gaming's coming this way and we want the opportunity to be able to have the benefits of the gaming, if we're going to take the non-beneficial parts of the gaming, then consider us as a place to be. Ultimately, the legislation will make the decision on where it'll be, and then the communities can decide accordingly. But if they don't think you want it at all, you're going to be off of it, and we're finding another way to try to bring in revenue that we're losing to replace that. And, you know, I've never been a sky is falling type person. But honestly, if we don't look for ways to bring in new revenue, there's only one other way to get it, and that's increasing taxes.
Right.
And so I'm looking for all opportunities that I can.
If you want political suicide, let's increase taxes.
Let's increase taxes.
Well, and plus, I think, you know, we're the second largest city in Indiana. You know, you either play or you pay. And I think I don't see the negatives like some people do. I truly believe, and I could be wrong here, but I truly believe it's a very vocal minority that is against it. It seems that way because the momentum is there. It
is a very vocal minority, and there are so many people who see our world different than they saw it in 2016 when the conversation of gaming came up in our community differently. But I'd also like to remind people that gaming exists in Fort Wayne.
Yes.
There's lottery tickets, there's scratch-off tickets, there's online gaming, there's off-track betting. It's just a different form of gaming. And there's bingo, and there's a casino, charity casino, where people are playing blackjack. It exists in our community. This would expand it to bring in much more revenue.
Yeah, I think, you know, when we were doing the show notes and looking over the things that we want to talk to you about, I want to hit this one hard.
Okay.
What got you into this?
So I wanted to be involved in politics after my senior year in high school. In the junior year, we were going to vote for who the senior student body would be, right? And when we walked into the room to vote for student body, I kept going, where was I all these years? I would have run for this if I had known, right? And at that moment, I swore to myself that I would never not be involved and not know what was going on. And I ended up getting married right out of high school. I did all the dutiful good wife things, you know, went to school for a while, stopped going to college and stayed home. After 17 years, my marriage dissolved and we went our separate ways. I had a little girl who was 3 years old, my daughter at the time. And I had promised myself that I was going to now become all the things that I did not do that I said I wanted to be. And being involved politically was one of them. And I had always watched the news, read the news, and paid attention, but just never involved. So I applied for a board and commission did not get appointed to a board and commission. Now looking back, I understand what I didn't know. I understand how they work now.
Maybe it was a blessing too. I don't know.
Right. Boards and commissions. So, I'm a single mom. I am working in insurance, of which I did for 32 years, and I still wanted to get involved politically. I went back to school, worked on getting my HR degree. I also got a degree in management at the same time. And a company comes to me and says, hey, will you come and run our office here? We just purchased this industry. We're going to merge these companies together. Absolutely sure, I'll do that. In hiring an individual, I have what I have always deemed a complete open door policy. If the door is open, you're more than welcome to come in, sit, and talk with me. I still have that even in City Hall. It's catching everybody off guard. They're like, we can really come in here and just sit and talk with you? Absolutely.
And your security team is like, please stop doing this.
No, they love it.
Really?
They love it.
Okay.
Everybody loves it. They know that if the door is open, staff can come in. Public, we want you to schedule, but we have days for them to come, public to come as well. So anyway, in that office, in insurance, I was interviewing a young man. I hired him. One day he took up on the open door policy, and he says, what's the one thing you've always wanted to do that you've never been able to do? And I said, I've always wanted to be involved in politics, but I just never have been able to break the door open, couldn't crack the door, I couldn't get inside of it. And he just, okay. We kept talking, and he walked away. And about 3 months later, he came back to me, and he says, do you still want to get involved in politics? And I said, yeah.
Did I say that? You're like,
right.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I'm the chair of the Democrat Party. Would you like to run? And I go, well, how long have you been the chair of the Democrat Party? The whole time I was talking to him, he was a chair. He never gave me any indication that that's what he did as part of his volunteer
I wonder if you would have
service.
I wonder if you would have said something different if you would have known.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never asked that question. I should. But when he said that to me, he said, hey, we've got a county race that's up. Do you want to run? And I dropped my head down, and I said to him, no, I can't. I'm on my last year of school. I've got my job, my daughter, all these things, And he said, okay, well, just thought I'd ask. And he turned to walk away. And I dropped my head really quick, and I did a real quick prayer. Lord, is this my chance? And I distinctly heard, now or never. So I followed him before he even got back into his seat, and I said, I'll do it.
Wow.
And that was the November before my 40th birthday, which my birthday is January 24th, Saturday, coming up. And I made my first announcement on my 40th birthday that I would be running for office.
Wow.
And I've been involved ever since.
See, you know what? I think just having been around politics enough to be dangerous, I think the people that are most successful are the ones who feel it as a calling. I think there's an inherent difference between somebody who chases it and somebody who feels invited into it. Let me ask you, how old is your daughter?
She is 23 now.
Okay.
She's 23 now.
Is she going to follow in mom's footsteps?
I doubt it.
Okay. She's seen it too much? Is that how that works?
She has seen too much. But I can tell you she is a wonderful orator. She speaks great.
Yeah.
And she can speak off the cuff really well.
So can her
so
mom.
She's picked that skill up, I think, from us and from me. And she just does not like the stress that comes with it. I mean, and I'm sure at some point we'll get into it. You mentioned like why would you?
Yeah.
It is, you do receive a lot of hate with no anticipated end. You do provide a lot of exposure of your own personal into the community. And so I think that part of it probably makes her say, no, I don't want to do it, because I mean, my family watches people say things on social where that they don't even know you. They don't even understand.
Haters are going to hate. And I think that's right. And the thing is that politicians, it's in some cases it's a self-inflicted bullseye, but in most cases, I found that the people are uninformed. So even
absolutely.
We're not policy makers here. But with what NEI does, we're involved in the policies because they affect us. Right. And then if they affect us, they affect the companies that want to relocate or expand here. Like, we're a victim of that circumstance no matter what.
And people blame you all for things that you're not responsible
All
for.
the time.
Right.
Ask Jake. You
Right.
know Jake that works here.
Yeah.
He because he does the RDA stuff. And why am I not getting the money? Why are they
Exactly.
getting the money?
Exactly.
I've never, and I told him, I said, my job is fun and easy because I get to promote the region, right? And come up with neat things and have neat
Make it
guests
all
on the
exciting.
show. That's fun. What he has to do is answer to people, even though you see the criteria of this is the decision-making process we go through, there's never a good job.
But you know what? In spite of all that, in spite of all the white noise is what I call it, that's on social medias and things that people may or may not say, both to the good and to the bad, right? I would do it all again. Because the work that we're doing is so important to me. And I know people will say, well, of course you're going to say that. No, it's really important to me to be able to have a resident call me because they didn't understand why an interaction happened, and I take the call and help them understand the difference between what they think is law and what really is law, and how they can impact change on that, and how we can really change our community for the good for everyone, right? The masses is what you want to do. And so the small sacrifice, in my opinion, that I may be giving up in terms of someone thinking that I'm a monster that I may not be, is worth all the positive that I encounter on a daily basis of meeting really good people.
Change is hard.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yes. Change is very hard. Everyone wants to know who moved my cheese, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We want it all the same. The only time that we don't challenge change, you know what I find is funny, is that none of us are still asking, can I buy the car with the roll-up window? Right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants the auto button up and down. No one is still saying, give me my rotary phone.
Right.
Right.
That's the famous quote from Henry Ford, right? If I would have asked people what they wanted, they'd say a faster horse. I want to get into Vincent Village.
Sure.
So can you talk a little bit about that, what it is, what got you involved with that?
Yeah. I was on the board at Vincent Village serving as a board member. Vincent Village, first of all, for those who don't know, is a homeless shelter that houses families. The goal is to keep families together. There is a 2-year portion where you can be in a shelter setting, and then there is a 5-year segment where you can be in a standalone house. You still get wraparound care, and you get service to help you become self-sustaining. And that's the purpose of it. We would do case management where you would be talking about finances. And when I was there, I spent a lot of time in helping train people how to properly spend their money.
Oh, okay.
And train people how to rethink about money so that they could get out of homelessness and not get back into homelessness.
Teach a man to fish, right?
Held them accountable, held their hands, loved on them a lot, because when you're unhoused, you feel like you've been abandoned by everybody, including God. And so you have to really develop a new trust and have people believe that you really do care about seeing the best for them. And so it was the hardest work I've ever done in my entire life, including the work that I'm doing now. It was so hard because you were constantly seeing people at the worst time in their life.
Oh, yeah.
And what you develop is a real, true empathy and sympathy for
hopefully.
how people's lives,
Yeah.
right? And so when I see people that are unhoused, I will go up to them and say, where'd you sleep last night? And they, please find yourself, get here to the rescue mission, Salvation Army, somewhere where we can get them the help that I know that they need. People who are unhoused are just like you and I. Just one thing changed, that was paying whatever bill that kept them in the house, what they weren't able to make it. And so I worked at Vincent Village as the executive director, and I raised resources to be able to help families stay housed. And I absolutely loved serving on the board. And the time that I was serving on the board, I was in my 30th year or 32nd year of insurance, where I was always mitigating risk, always evaluating and determining how to protect people's assets and how to mitigate risk for companies, big and small. And I had just gotten burned out.
Yeah,
I frankly was just like, 32 years of doing this, I am tired. My insides were starting to like ache and pain from just doing that. And I was praying. And if you haven't figured it out, I'm a believer. I really heavy believe in the power of prayer and God. And I was like, Lord, I need an outlet. I need something to do because I'm a breadwinner. I got to take care of my family. I got to make sure that I'm still providing. And I decided to use my network and reach out to people and say, hey, if you know of something, let me know because I'm ready to make a move. And the one young lady said to me, well, Vincent Village is looking for an executive director. Why don't you apply for there? I'm like, oh, no, I can't do that. I've been in insurance 32 years. You didn't think about how they correlate to each other. And she told me I was being silly.
Really?
And she said, you need to do it. And I reached out and I talked to the board president, and fast forward, I got the job. It filled everything in my love cup. It gave me the opportunity to work with people. It still was very hard work.
I can imagine. I would think it would be the opposite,
Oh,
because
no.
I would think the emotional taxation that a Vincent Village type of gig would, I think that would be more taxing.
Oh, it was the hardest work I've ever done.
Yeah,
it was
but it was more rewarding.
But it was the most rewarding work I've ever done. I mean, being mayor is a second rewarding, but the most rewarding work when you see a little kid who has no say into the fact that they can't go back to their own room, right?
Yeah.
And now they're stuck with a whole bunch of strangers in a place, and they come and hug your thigh, and they want to be with you, and they thank you, and you get a chance to love on them and fun on them, and you don't have to take them home, right?
Yeah.
It becomes one of the best things that you can do, and every day it's stressful because for me as the executive director, I was carrying the weight of feeding and housing and keeping the system going for all the families that were in my care, including the families that were my employees.
And raising
that I
the
had
funds
to make
to do
sure,
it?
yes.
Wow.
And raising the funds to do that. And Vincent Village is a $2 million operation, and when you're asking people, yeah, I mean, $2 million doesn't sound like a lot at all. But
No.
when you only get that through asking some, will you give me 5? Will you give me 10? Will you give me 20 to help keep the mission going? It can be stressful, especially when you get the answer like, yeah, we don't have it, we can't give it. And you know that you're looking across the table at people who are unhoused and need to know that this is a place of safety. And so it was one of the most stressful, but one of the most rewarding opportunities that I had.
I had to interrupt the podcast to share the exciting news. We officially have our 2026 Pioneer nominees. Now, we will be announcing these soon, but in the meantime, my team and I are working behind the scenes to film and tell their pioneering stories. You might be wondering where you come in, and I'm glad that you want to know. We will be releasing the video series telling each pioneer story in the spring, along with opening up community voting to vote on each category winner. So we encourage everyone to first of all subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is where we're going to be posting the video series. After you've watched the series, be sure to go to pioneerstartshere.com to vote on the category winners. The category winners, as well as the 2026 Pioneer of the Year, will all be announced at our May Pioneer Awards event. So those are the 3 things for you to do. First of all, subscribe to our channel, watch the video series, and vote on your 2026 Pioneers. Now let's jump back into this podcast.
When I left Vincent Village, the caucus came, mayor died, and I'll never forget it. It was the holiday weekend of Easter. It was Good Friday when he passed away.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I wanted to get into that.
Oh,
your
sure.
relationship with him.
Sure. Before he passed...
Mayor Tom Henry.
Yes, yeah. Mayor Henry. Before Mayor passed, I was serving on city council, and, I was doing all the things that I needed to do for the 6th District to reinvest and to build the community up. I kind of felt like, if you're familiar with the Bible story Nehemiah, where I was rebuilding our community, Southeast Fort Wayne, that's kind of how I took that approach. Like, how can I build the community back? And Mayor and I would meet, randomly, and I would ask for specific needs in the community, and he never refused them. Now, he may ask for a need back. I need your vote to... I need your vote on something, but I'm willing to work with you.
Reciprocal partnership, hey, that works.
I'm willing to trade. That's politics, right?
Yeah.
And so we never had I'll talk to you or go out to eat with you every other week or but we never had a relationship where we disrespected each other. And I guess I'm that way, just period. I just do the work and go on. I'm not the hang out, you want to do those things. And so we never were as close as maybe he and Councilwoman Chambers or he and some of the other elected officials may have been, but we did have a tremendous level of respect, and he helped me in many ways get the things that I needed because he would give the approval, because he ultimately had the final say as to yay or nay whether we're going to do these investments. And all the investments that came into the 6th district, he was able to say, yeah, give her what she needs. And so I had a tremendous level of respect for him.
Yeah. How much of a surprise was it to you? I mean, obviously he passed. Well, how much of a culture shock or how much of a shock to the system was it? You're mayor suddenly. Can we talk about that? Now you're realizing, it's go time.
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to set the record straight for those naysayers out there who assume that Mayor Henry knew he was sick and hadn't said anything.
That was big news, yeah.
Yeah, it was a shock to everyone.
Yeah.
It was a shock to everyone. And I believe the mayor when he said he didn't find out until January and he gave his announcement. I saw the look on his face and his friends and family's face when he called us into the meeting to let us all know.
It was a matter of a week or two. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for the naysayers who don't believe that, I with everything inside of me, know that it was a new news to him as well. He was worried about Cindy. Yeah. He was worried and keeping everything with the stress of the job and all those things.
Well, 20 years. Yeah. 20 years, right?
Yeah. Close to, yeah. And so it was interesting to see the faces, because I'll walk you through when I won the caucus, and you could start to see the calculation in people's minds.
Yep.
Who is she going to be? What is she going to do? Is she going to defund police?
Yes.
Is she going to be a radical left?
Is she going to carry his torch?
Is she going to, yes, she's just going to finish out. Is she going to randomly come through and wipe everyone out? And what is she going to do? And I would say that I respect that, because many people only ever knew me as councilwoman. They never had the opportunity to know me as leader. And if you go back and you talk to the people at Vincent Village and you talk to my team now, they would tell you that my style of leadership is come in, listen, learn, move the pieces, support the good pieces, decide where the right folks should be in the right places, and then do that. You never do anything drastic, because you need to learn the culture. And if you change the culture of a company, you can turn it upside down and not realize why you've caused that company to fail. And so the city is no different. You come in, you look at what's working, we learn how we can improve and put people in the right places so that we can get the best value for our community out of it, and building relationships with community and working to be sure that people understand that we're all in this boat together, rolling in the same direction, and that is to continue being able to provide safety, job opportunities, and growth for our community. And that's my focus.
So this is one of my favorite things. When we were doing our research on you, we heard you are the first Fort Wayne mayor under 5'4".
That's right.
I thought that was very clever of you to say, because everybody the first
black female,
and then you got up there and that was the first thing out of your mouth. So good for you on that one.
Well, let me tell you, because I got a sick sense of humor, right?
Yeah, I love it.
No one was expecting. They wanted me to say
I'm the first. Yeah, of course. So kudos to you. But let me ask you this: is there any inherent added pressure because?
Absolutely.
Okay, you feel it.
Absolutely. I won't even let you finish, because I am a black female. Absolutely. And it has a lot to do with also inherent pressure, because I am a black female, and because we are just coming off of long-term history. The longest held time for a mayor, 16 plus years. He was on his 5th term. By the time he finished the 5th term,
almost
he would have had 20
Yep.
years, right? Definitely. And so not only are you completing the term of a political beast, right? He's wonderful leadership, mayor, changed the community. Then you come in as a lady and you come in as an African American in our community in today's political climate. Yeah, there was a different level of pressure. There were moments where I knew that people were watching to see how's she going to respond.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Do you think there's a false expectation?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like people collectively will jump to the excuse that it could be convenient for them.
Right. I mean, even now, if you look in the media, sometimes, on the socials, you see people saying she's a DEI mayor. Or we didn't vote for her; she was selected. She's the
not that you earned your spot to get there. It's
absolutely, absolutely, all those things, and not that we've done anything any different than any of the caucuses that were just held for the Republican side to replace the city clerk or to replace the county council member. The rules have been laid out, and we played according to the rules.
The checks and balances have been in there for years.
And so I go back to my people perish for a lack of knowledge, or wisdom is the principal thing, so get wisdom. And that's what we need to do, focus on making sure that we get the whole story. But to say that there are expectations, I believe that expectations are the mother of all disappointments, and so I try to set the right expectation. I knew that people were watching and looking because they had no idea what I would do, what my leadership style would be.
Yeah.
And so I gave them the freedom to judge that. At the same time, I would do what I believe is correct for everyone. And then try to help make sure that we're setting the right expectations. I can't own someone's hate. I'm not going to borrow someone's dislike, and I'm not going to carry someone else's water. I'm going to always do and be who I am. And when I walk into the room and I give you a hug, that's who I am. It doesn't matter what title I carry. That's the person that I was when I was county councilwoman, city councilwoman, when I was laying on the floor with a mom who had lost her house and she and her child were unhoused and didn't know what she would do. I'm that person, whether I'm having lunch with the CEO of a large corporation or whether I'm eating Taco Bell, right? So I'm going
or Hoppy Gnome.
Yeah, or Hoppy Gnome.
Do you think that because of I guess I'd call it the unexpected handoff. At some point it was going to happen, probably. But do you think that because of that unexpected handoff, that you were able, or you have been able to put your stamp on things, or do you feel like you have yet to put your stamp on things?
The universe is weird in how it works. The conversations had happened before about running for mayor, and I remember saying at one point that I didn't think the community was ready for a female mayor. And I remember when I first started being involved, I used to say, I want to be the first lady mayor. I want to be the first lady mayor. That's before learning of Cosette Simon. And then Paula Hughes was running. And Paula Hughes, I love Paula. And I thought, oh, man. Oh, boy, if Paula's running.
Do I want to go into this ring?
Right, and I thought, I'm going to be the first black female mayor, right?
One way or another, I'm
right, I'm going to be the first. I used to say that even before. And here I sit. I share that because while, and I had this conversation with my family. What I'm getting ready to say is what I talked with my family. I never thought that I would be able to become mayor in the path that I've become mayor. I didn't believe that the traditional path at the time was ready for a woman. But I didn't think the path would come this way, and that a person would have to lose their life in order for me to be elevated. And so I said to my family, we need to be careful of how greatly we celebrate, because while we're celebrating, someone else is mourning.
Yeah.
And we don't want to turn that celebration into a disrespect for the lost life that was lost for this opportunity. And the reason I say the universe is weird is because I knew for years that I wanted to run at some point for office and become mayor. Because of the reservations that I held for the community, I now had almost 4 full years by the time it's time for a new run to be able to show the community that women can lead, black or white, right? That women have the opportunity to lead. Some of the stressful moments that we have had in our community, whether it was police-involved shooting, whether it was the modification of taxing systems, and how I have jokingly deemed myself as war battle ready. right?
Yeah.
I have gone through fire, and we've succeeded as a community. And
no
we're
doubt about
still
it.
winning awards, and we're still doing some really dynamic things and moving some really big projects forward. And the universe, God, in my opinion, opened the door for that to be able to be seen. And so it actually, what I would say, changed how we as a community looked at leadership. Oh, you know what I like? And this was in some of the first months of being mayor. I've had to go to a lot of events outside of the city. And when I go to places outside of the city, they clean my lenses of my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They start saying about how awesome our parks are, or how wonderful it was to be downtown and commute from their hotel to a restaurant
Yeah.
or to different places.
Or to the
And
groundbreakings I see you at, right?
absolutely, because we're in it every day, it's just become
Yeah.
accustomed.
You get blind to
Yes,
it after a while, and don't
yes.
let that happen.
And so it's great when I go to other places because you get a new, fresh perspective. I'll share this with you really quick if I could. Young lady emailed me this week. I received her email. She is a student in Chicago now, and she's experiencing life in a different format as a college student in Chicago. And she sent me a very nice letter letting me know things that she's learned in Chicago that she thinks that we should work on and focus back to Fort Wayne so that we bring young people back into our community. And she laid out a list of long things that she thinks we're missing it. Fresh eyes.
Yeah.
When you get outside of our community and you go into other places, you can see both the positive and some of the negative that we may have in our community and be able to address those. And that's one of the things that I love when I travel, to talk to people who've come to our community and help reinvite me to things in the community that I may be missing, right? Reintroduce me to things that I may be missing in the community, and helps us grow.
Yeah. Since you mentioned the youth, the one thing that really resonates with me is we run the gamut with this show. You get high school kids, you get adults, you get elderly. I wonder what you think about when you think about there's somebody who thinks that they can't. What advice would you give to them?
You can. And what I would say is prepare for the journey and enjoy the journey as you go. I would also say that it never looks like what you think in your mind that it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I never imagined that a person would have to lose their life for me to have an opportunity to be mayor. So it never looks like what you think it's going to be or how it's going to happen. But be ready for it when it does happen. Preparation, always be prepared, and never be too scared to shoot your shot. Because I tell you, there were people who told me, "Oh, you can't do this," or "You shouldn't."
I bet
You shouldn't
but they
run.
probably
and
still are, maybe.
Yes, there's still some that are out there, but these are people that were in my circle.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these are friends who called themselves friends and who were around me all the time as councilwoman, who were trying to discourage me. And I remember telling one that I valued his opinion a lot. I had said to him, "I'm on the 3-point line. I have the ball in my hand and no one's guarding me. I'm shooting my shot.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop me." And that's what I would say to young people. There are going to be so many folks that can tell you what they think you should do with your life.
Yeah.
And they would never do that with their life.
Well, and you know what? Man, you're playing right into my hands on this one. Yeah, you said the 3-point shot. One of the things that Jamal, in his infinite wisdom that he taught me is he always says to me, "I didn't waste time getting ready. I stayed ready." Mm-hmm. We always end the show with rapid wrap up.
Okay.
So most of this is either or stuff. So are you a lake person or a hiking person? Because we offer both in the region.
I would have to say I'm a lake person.
Okay. Very good answer. Would you prefer to see a concert at the Clyde or a show at the Embassy?
Both, but if I had to choose, I'm a showgirl. I love performing, so I would go to a show
I
at
heard
the
you
Embassy.
sing, by the way. Yeah, you going to sing for us today or probably not?
I probably won't sing today, but, stick around. Karaoke might start it.
Okay.
Let me say that. I know we're in the rapid questions and we're in the
That's all
wrap up. We have Christmas parties for our staff, and this is the second year I've got to host the Christmas party. So this year I said, "Hey, you all, come hungry. Do not eat before. Everyone everyone in the city is invited. If you're in a call center, let's sub where people half can stay and half come and then switch out. And we're going to sing karaoke.
Okay.
And I think they thought I was joking.
Nope.
And when I bought out the on-wheel karaoke machine and I'm walking around, who wants to sing? Who wants to sing? You could see we had so much fun. And that's the difference in leadership style as well.
Okay.
The team enjoyed it immensely. And everyone's talking about, can't wait to see what she does next year.
Okay, so what is your favorite Fort Wayne treat?
Oh, gosh. My favorite Fort Wayne treat, the Brand's chocolate.
Okay. We had Kathy on the show, and we give those to everybody. You know, we get them personalized, the candy bars. It goes over like gangbusters.
I love the Brand's chocolate.
Sweetwater Gearfest or Vera Bradley Outlet Sale?
Gearfest.
Really? Okay, I was wrong on that one. We were placing bets on this before.
Okay.
And the last one was that we heard that you love to sing.
I love it.
So I'm just going to leave it at that you love to sing.
Yeah, no, I love to sing. I grew up in the church choir, had a little singing group with my sisters for a little while. We sang at funerals all the time.
Wow.
That became what we became known for, a particular song all the time. And most recently, or last, I would say, I performed in the Color Purple at the Civic Theater.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right before, that was
Awesome
in February
story.
of 2024, and in April, I'm swearing in as mayor. So that was the last production that I did was a
multi-talented. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing, I don't think you've attended our Pioneer event yet, have you?
No.
So that's May 7th this year.
May 7th.
We give out the Pioneer Awards. We've got technically 5 categories this year. You get 300 to 400 people there. It's a big deal. I am formally inviting you on May 7th. I would love to have you there. You're on the invite list, and you have to come, and I might even ask you to sing. You never know.
Well, you just never know.
Mayor Sharon Tucker, you are a wonderful person. I was so excited to get you on the show.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you.